Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Happy 30th anniversary! How about 30th anniversary? Because it ain't happy. Why is it not happy? Because this is the 30th anniversary of my ongoing fandom of the Minnesota Vikings. The sorry, pathetic, tragic Minnesota Vikings. It hasn't been all bad, but it's been bad enough for long enough that I thought it's finally time to tell the story of my 3 decades of suffering.
Let me tell you a story. Picture it.
For unto you was born this day
Round to city, where the slugs will fill ya, and even the she'll kill ya.
And there I am, 45 years ago in sunny Southern California. But this story begins in Dallas.
On Thanksgiving Day, 1974, Tom Landry and an obscure rookie quarterback witnessed what appeared to be a horrid chapter in Cowboy history. Trailing the Redskins 16-3, the Cowboys' only hope was Roger Staubach, a savior of lost causes. When the Redskins knocked Captain Comeback unconscious in the third quarter, all that stood between them and victory was a baby-faced rookie quarterback named Clint Longley, nicknamed the Mad Bomber for hitting Tom Landry's tower with an errant pass in training camp. This gunslinger demonstrated a fast draw and a hair trigger release even though he had not played a down in 1974. 28 seconds remain, and the fate of the Cowboys rested in the hands of a crazy rookie who hunted rattlesnakes for fun.
Well, I remember we didn't have any timeouts left. There was 28 seconds left.
Longley's 50-yard touchdown proved more than just a prayer of a pass. Longley had no command of the complex Cowboy system. Ignoring keys and coverages, he simply did what he did best: throw the football. The game was both the sunrise and sunset of Longley's career in Dallas. The next season, he was shipped off to the Chargers after fighting with Roger Staubach, thus becoming just a footnote in Cowboy history.
So that thrilling game is the reason why my dad was dipping in and out of the delivery room, and why the Cowboys became my team. And when I say the Cowboys, I don't mean these bums. No, these were my Cowboys. Tom Landry, Tony Dorsett, the Doomsday defense, and the offensive line with the Landry shift.
He's been replaced by Ron Springs now. In this situation, they like Springs straight ahead. They also like Dorsett straight ahead.
And to be clear, my suffering didn't begin with the Vikings. I put up with a lot of Cowboys mediocrity that was peppered with memorable disappointments, the first of which occurred in 1981.
For one of the rare times, what they thought was going to be a barn burner is exactly that. And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup some kind on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Clark caught
Dwight Clark. But I was a happy warrior, or a big dummy, and suffered through the embarrassment of a 3-13 season. So you would have thought I would have welcomed billionaire hillbilly Jerry Jones coming in and shaking things up. But I wasn't ready for his first big move. He fired Tom Landry immediately, but the biggest blow was yet to come.
A date which will live in infamy.
Jerry traded all-pro, all-world running back, kick returner, receiver, and all-around good guy Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings.
The Cowboys traded Herschel to a contender and gave him a huge trading bonus because they say they care. But a week ago Wednesday, they shocked Herschel by telling him he was traded. Herschel's bags were packed with Cowboys memories, but his thoughts were on the future as a running back for the Minnesota Vikings. How you feeling about the deal?
Well, I think it was a great deal for both parties. I think you can't pick a better team to go to than the Minnesota Vikings.
The Cowboys and Herschel lied about the deal that happened anyway, but Herschel could be on his way to the Super Bowl, while the Cowboys could be on their way to the toilet bowl.
Firing my favorite coach and players I'd grown up watching and going 1-15 was a lot to take. But trading Herschel Walker, that was the final straw. When Jerry traded Herschel to the Vikings, he basically traded me too. My best friend tried to convince me to stick with the Cowboys and told me it was just business, but I told him,
it's the principle of the whole thing. It's principalities in this.
So I became a Viking, which ultimately meant I missed out on him, on this.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
And on these. And so began my 30 years of tragedy and shame. But let's go inside the numbers. 0 Super Bowl appearances, 33 starting quarterbacks.
Well, you got some beauties here. 350 million people, and that's the best we could do. I don't think so.
5 big-name quarterbacks and a couple of Hall of Famers, and no championships. But if they gave out Super Bowl rings for scandals, the Vikings would be a dynasty. The Love Boat. 17 Vikings players were on a rented boat with out-of-state prostitutes, resulting in 4 of the players being charged with misdemeanors. The Traffic Cop. When a Minneapolis traffic cop stepped in front of star wide receiver Randy Moss to stop him from making an illegal U-turn in downtown Minneapolis, Moss used his 2002 Lexus to slowly push the officer a half block along the street, only stopping when she fell to the ground. He was arrested and charged with 2 misdemeanors. The Child Abuser. Star running back Adrian Peterson was suspended in 2014 after being charged with felony abuse for beating his 4-year-old son. AP eventually pleaded no contest to a reduced charge of misdemeanor reckless assault. He was fined $4,000, performed 80 hours of community service, and was suspended from the NFL for 1 year. Corey Stringer. In 2001, Pro Bowl offensive lineman Corey Stringer died from complications brought on by a heat stroke during the Vikings training camp. The Original Whizzinator. In 2005, running back Ontario Smith was detained at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport when police discovered vials of a white powder that turned out to be dried urine to be used with a drug test cheating prosthetic penis device called the Original Whizzinator. The Scalper. Just because your team can't make the Super Bowl doesn't mean that you should forego the big game paycheck. In 2005, Vikings coach Mike Tice was fined $100,000 by the NFL for scalping his Super Bowl tickets. The Collapse. When you're a Minnesota Viking, it's not just your Super Bowl hopes that collapse every year, as evidenced by this 2010 incident.
But captured in this dramatic video, the sports stadium's massive 9.5-acre inflatable roof caved in and burst open, pouring snow onto the field. No one was injured.
But all of that, those were just appetizers. The main course of my disappointment was served up in hearty helpings in 2015, 2009, and 1998.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half.
Blair Walsh has 5 game-winning field goals to his credit, including 2 this year. He walked off a winner here against St. Louis and at Soldier Field. This will be a 27-yard try, for all intents and purposes, to knock Seattle out of the postseason. Snap good, spot down, Walsh's kick is up, and it is no good, he missed it! Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that! He missed it left! And the Seattle Seahawks are off to Charlotte. Blair Walsh missed a 27-yard field goal, and the Minnesota Vikings are going to lose 10-9.
You fucking piece of shit!
The 2009 NFC Championship game swung back and forth all night long, and just as it looked like we'd see Brett Favre against Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl, well, this happened.
Third down and 15. Favre sprints to his right, throws back across the middle, and he's intercepted. Porter. The return by Porter, and he's brought down with 7 seconds left.
Brett Favre goes back to pass, he pumps. Intercepted, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal.
Hartley sends the Saints to the Super Bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
The most devastating loss in conference championship history is one that Vikings fans know all too well. Minnesota dominated their way to a 16-1 record heading into the 1998 NFC title game against the Dirty Bird Falcons. And of any Vikings team ever, this was the one most destined for a Lombardi Trophy.
You look at these Vikings, John, and they have scored more points than anybody ever has in the history of the NFL. Today they play Atlanta. How do they start to work against the Falcons?
Well, they just have to keep doing what they've done all year. I mean, this is really their year. I mean, everything they've done has been extraordinary, from the job that head coach Denny Green has done. Randall Cunningham has just been superb. And then you say Randy Moss, and you have Chris Carter, Robert Smith running. And
leading 27-20 late in the fourth, all they needed was Gary Anderson to hit a chip shot field goal to send Minnesota to Super Bowl 33.
If Minnesota makes this field goal here now, you know, they get the 10-point lead.
And Anderson hasn't missed in 2 years.
So that's a pretty good bet. If you say, do you think Gary Anderson will make this field goal? The answer should probably be yes.
He makes this, pretty much this game is over.
39-yard attempt. The spot, the kick by Anderson on the way. It's no good.
Wow. Gary Anderson has missed a field goal for the first time in 2 years. Unbelievable.
Second and 10, he drops. Out of the pocket.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Mathis held on.
But isn't this something? I mean, you talk about the game and the offense and the defense and the coaches and the Vikings and the dome and the noise, and the whole game comes down to the kicker. I mean, the kicker Morton Anderson right now is the difference between the Falcons going to the Super Bowl or maybe the Vikings going to the Super Bowl. Ooh, is this place quiet now?
Yes, it is.
The spot, the kick, wide. No, it's good. So the Falcons have stolen the thunder from the Vikings. It's like getting punched in the gut for Viking fans, not only in the stadium, but all over the United States.
So I stick with my team because after 3 decades of disappointment, I believe that I'm owed, at the very least, a Super Bowl appearance. Is that too much to ask? Perhaps. But honestly, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Back, here it is. The season's on the line. 2 receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! No! The Cardinals have knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs. I believe it was caught by Nate Poole. He's being mugged by his Cardinal teammates. They're Minnesota Vikings crying on the field.